I'm the founder and the president of Pro Food International Corporation. We are 8 boys and 3 girls. We call ourselves a basketball team. My father was actually born in Leyte, but he went back to China at 7 years old because my grandpa passed away, and come back to the Philippines at 14 years old. My mom is born in Cebu, and she is just a housewife to take care of all of us. Basically, we grow up under our mom watching us. I came from a pure-blooded Chinese family, but raised up in a Filipino way. So by blood, I'm Chinese, but by culture, I'm a Filipino. For me, it was an advantage because I have 2 cultures mixed together. I'm quite happy to be part of it. There's no difference to be a Chinoy than to be a Filipino. Please catch me on Chinoy TV, present Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart, only on CNN Philippines.
I'm Slater Young. I'm the CEO of Light Block, and I also have my real estate company, Sky Estates, and I also do content creation. I grew up in Cebu, but parang yung culture namin is very province. My dad came from Dipolog, so very province vibes. We live in a very Chinese-style home wherein 2 stories apartment, and then sa baba would be the offices. Dun yung office ng construction company ng dad ko, and then yung bedrooms would be at the top. So I think it's a very Chinese thing, no? So very simple lang talaga yung upbringing namin.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Uy Young and I am a content creator. My parents were like a typical Chinese Filipino set of parents. I can't go out of the gate of school unless my driver's there, like super strict and traditional. The family was super private. So this whole time I realized, now that I'm married and I have a different, family, oh, I lived in a bubble pala all my life. I think that's true for a lot of Chinoys. We hope that other people who are Chinoys also can see this video and also be inspired na, there are other Chinoys out there like you.
It's important to know that why we are the way we are.
Yes.
Maybe hopefully inspire other people and just have a little bit of a takeaway from our journey as being Chinoys. Catch us on Chinoy TV Presents
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart, only on CNN Philippines.
I'm Coach Golden Monteverde. I'm the head coach of the UP Fighting Maroons. Growing up, we were introduced to mga Chinese beliefs, and we were sent to Chinese schools. Yung mom and dad ko is not that type na, would really be strict when you do something. Although, syempre, they would tell you in different ways. Growing up, I was not a perfect, child. Along the way I really appreciate yung parents ko kasi they never gave up on me, and I felt that whatever I wanted, they just supported me. Eventually, when my parents knew that I was really into coaching, they would really support me. Even my siblings would support me in coaching. One of the greatest lessons that I learned at 17 through basketball was, to never give up. Our coach would always instill to us discipline, and whatever happens during a game, just as long as you know that, you're giving your best, and you're fine. I feel blessed to be part of this documentary and to be able to express yung sarili ko or sa heart ko. Catch me on Chinoy TV Presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines.
My name is Bonnie Tan. I'm the head coach of the Letran Knights. We are 7 siblings in our family, 2 girls and 5 boys. Nasa gitna ako. And typical Chinese family na natutulog sa isang room, yung magkakapatid. Once in a while, doon yung cousins namin na nag-sleep over din, kami sa kanila. My parents are supportive sa mga plans ng mga anak niya. Especially to my late father. na mahilig manood sa basketball, especially PBA. So, yun, including may atsis sa plays basketball. Lahat kami magkakapatid, naglalarong basketball. So, yun yung nag-mold sa akin to become what I am today. I feel blessed and honored to be part of this campaign. And I hope I can inspire more Chinoys to be part of Philippine sports. Catch me on Chinoy TV, presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines.
Hi there, I'm Chinkitan. I'm considered as the pambansang wealth coach here in the Philippines. I was born and raised here in Tondo, Manila. So whenever I go out on the street, going to school, I would hear yung mga racial slur, like for example, inchik, beho, chekwa, diba, singkit. And it has been always in my mind that I need to prove myself towards others. I really work so hard. I turn night into day into night. I sold everything that I can get my hands onto. I really am so thankful and grateful because of those hardships. I turned my pain into my gain. I turned my scars into stars rather than becoming a victim of this situation. I'm proud to be Filipino-Chinese, and at the same time, I'm proud to be part of this campaign. It will promote the culture of the Filipino and the Chinese. There are a lot of good things that we can learn from the Filipino, and likewise, there are a lot of good things that we can learn from the Chinese. Catch me on Chinoy TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines.
I'm Beverly Lorraine Chuaho. I'm the Director for Health Promotion Bureau and the Disease Prevention and Control Bureau at the Department of Health. Growing up, we rented an apartment. We get brought to school by my aunt who lives with us. We always would have baon, not in money, but in food. That's really because it's part of pagtitipid. I also will remember that we don't have birthday parties when we were younger, except when I guess we turned 1 year old. And my parents would just say that it's better to share what we have for others. That was really the first few lessons of, I say, charity or generosity during that time that I learned from them. That it's not just about us, but really about the people around us. I'm very privileged to be part of this campaign, but also very grateful for this opportunity to promote the work that we do. Watch me on Chinoy TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines.
Hi, I'm Joseldo C. I'm the chairman and CEO of Ever Belena Cosmetics. I was raised here. Although my background is Chinese, I still believe that we are culturalized from a Chinese blood into a Filipino national. So I blended both together to best fit of what I am here in the Filipino community and work as a good Filipino citizen. I hope my little sharing and wisdom will help our next generation to know what we're doing and where we're coming from, and looking forward to see the younger generations. I'm inviting everybody to watch Chinoy TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines.
I'm Kenneth Cabonpue, and I'm an industrial designer. I grew up into a sort of pseudo-traditional Chinese family. My father was a traditional Chinese businessman, and my mother was working always from the house. She was a designer who built furniture literally from our backyard. Every night before going to bed, she would read stories of fairy tales and different stories from faraway lands. After I drifted off to sleep with these stories, the next morning would find me wanting to recreate these stories using the materials that I found. Since I grew up in the Philippines, everything that I know, my inspiration, my whole history, my culture, everything that I do is inspired by the Philippines. I feel very honored and feel very proud to be part of a campaign to try to rediscover and find out what is it that makes a Chinoy. Watch me on Chinoy TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines.
Hi, I'm Camille Ko, a content creator and entrepreneur. I am of Chinese heritage. I'm of Chinese ancestry, but I was born and raised in the Philippines. All my friends know this from school. Like, they really know my parents by name because they know that my parents are so strict. They're very involved in my life. And I definitely have really Chinoy values. I grew up speaking Chinese. At home, we weren't allowed to speak Filipino to our parents. We had to do really well with our Chinese studies because my parents really feel that it's important for us to, have a connection to our roots and to really not forget where our ancestors came from. I'm so happy that there's a campaign like this where we can bridge differences and truly come together so that everyone can have an understanding of this whole movement. Catch me on Chinoy TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart on CNN Philippines.
My name is Stan C. I am a sportscaster and a voice talent. So when I was growing up, I was bullied because of my name. I was bullied because I was bookish. I was considered a nerdy kid. And in a way, pag na-color ka na into your little box, hindi na nila ma-i-imagine na you can step out of your box. When I was being bullied, it was really people making me feel bad about myself, making me feel that I shouldn't have any self-confidence, any self-esteem. So it wasn't necessarily about like what I wanted to be or who I am. It was more of who they thought I was. My goal was to reinvent myself. So that's why I wanted to do everything I wanted to do. What I've seen in my career is that a lot of the opportunities that opened up for me was because I put myself out there and I simply asked, even if the opportunity didn't exist. One of the things I really believe in is representation. It's something that I really stood for and wanted to push for. And I'm glad that this season we're expanding beyond coverage of Chinoys inside Metro Manila. So it's great that we're hearing all these stories because it adds more diversity and more flavor into the overall picture of what being a Chinoy is.
Hi, I'm Valerie Tan. I've been a TV and events host for 15 years already. I'm also a content creator. I do lifestyle and travel vlogs. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm very fortunate in the fact that my parents are very supportive with my career of choice. Because as a Filipino Chinese, diba, the usual stereotype is you're expected to be a doctor, an accountant, an engineer, and of course, an entrepreneur. But for us, me and my siblings, we all had different career paths, and my parents were very, very supportive of each of our choices. So they would bring me to all the auditions, and up until I was starting already and struggling to get a project on TV, they were there for me. They were truly 100% supportive and gave me 100% unconditional love and support. I'm very lucky in that aspect. It is an honor and truly am humbled to be part of this roster, to share my story as a modern Chinoy and to find representation for their own stories and their own journeys. Catch me on Chinoy TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart on CNN Philippines.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. Hashtag Beyond Borders is brought to you by Doña Maria Brown Rice, my kind of rice, from SL Agritech. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific. Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. Vespo Pipes and Luftonic Air Purifiers by Tech Global Incorporated.
I'm very proud of. I was able to make Philippine mango known to the world. I'm very proud of so many of the lowly farmers was able to send their kids to colleges, to school. In fact, they earned their own business because you can imagine before a kilo of fresh mango is less than 1 peso in 1982. In Copra in 1976 it's already 6 peso. I remember that very clearly because my classmate earned so much money in 1976 that they built a house. So I remember very clearly it was 6 peso a kilo. Today, mango in the supermarket is over 100 peso. So eventually the farmers' livelihood have really been uplifted. I'm quite proud because we are the reason why the mango is so expensive now. Because the demand was so high that we have to absorb the mango and the mango price keep on going up due to supply and demand. My name is Justin Uy. I'm the founder and the president of ProFood International Corporation. I came from a pure-blooded Chinese family, but raised up in a Filipino way. So by blood, I'm Chinese, but by culture, I'm a Filipino. For me, it was an advantage because I have two cultures mixed together, which you choose the best, what is good for us. We are 11 siblings, and I'm number 4. We are 8 boys and 3 girls. We call ourselves a basketball team. I started quite young in business. The main reason is because I want to help my dad. We are a big family with 11 siblings, and my father is a cigarette distributor. So financially, we're not that well off. So somehow all my 3 business before, although it all failed, give me all the experience to go into my 4th business, which is the dried mango. We started dried mango because of one real reason. On that time, we don't have the capital at all. So on that time, mango costs less than a peso per kilo. And the farmers during summer months don't even harvest their mango because they don't have any buyers. They can't sell to the fresh fruit market. So on that time was a perfect time for us, which we don't have the money. And I can tell the farmers, you give me your mango, I'll pay you in 90 days or whenever I can sell my product. So that's the biggest break I have on that time, persuading the farmers to deliver the mango. So all I have to look for now is the money to pay the workers and the money to pay for the ingredients like the sugar and the packaging. Again, I started the dried mango business with my brother, eldest brother. It was not an easy path. In fact, we jumped into a business without even knowing food processing. For the first 3 years, we failed. We failed miserably that all the borrowed money are gone. So somehow on that time, my brother gave up. I have no choice but to continue. If not, who will pay for all the borrowed money from all the friends and relatives? It was pretty difficult, but I continued on that time. Forced myself to learn on food preservation, everything, to make it correct. So it took 3 years before we really start earning money. After that 3 years, because that was in 1980 already, the biggest break come in 1983 when the first big devaluation come in. That was during the Marcos era. During the Marcos time, everything was so topsy-turvy. There were yellow confetti in demonstration. So Philippine peso devaluated in 1983. So that's the real money that I've earned to continue to grow the company. I think I got this value aside from being a Chinese, being an entrepreneur, is I got the value from we are a religious family also. So we believe in God that will help you. Your business, because my father's business is in a cigarette business, which is bad for our health. So we always pray for something that can change the situation. So I always believe that somehow, someday, I will have a business that can help the family, which I believe really in the mango business, which was my fourth business. When I see that this is the business I have to pursue, so I approached my dad. I said, because on that time, I used my dad's relatives to borrow money, friends to borrow money. I said, this is the business I want to go. But if you want me to run this business, I want to run it the way I want to. So I got the blessing from my dad on that time. I was very hands-on. In fact, my dad, when I was in high school, I asked my dad, what should I take up? Since my dad worked for a cigarette company, he told me, Justin, you better take up chemist. I said, why? So you can work in my boss factory as a chemist in the cigarette. I hate cigarette. I don't even smoke. So I tell myself, well, I'll follow my dad's wish, but I took up chemical engineering. For me, chemist is something very boring. Not knowing that when I go into mango business, it will help me a lot. I forced myself to learn food preservation. In fact, I took a 2-week quick course in UP just to know the basic of food preservation, and the rest was self-study. I was exactly on the mango business already. At the same time, was taking up my college. In fact, my college, 5-year college, became an 8-year college course because I was a full-time running the business already. So the engineering course helped me to understand what is food preservation and how to go mass production without sacrificing the quality. Since my competitors are way up ahead of us already, I have no choice and to concentrate on the export market. There are two reasons why I choose export market. First reason is the volume is bigger. Second reason is I cannot afford to give to the supermarket a 6 months credit because I don't have the money. Well, if you sell to the export, although the price is lower, but you get your payment up once you deliver immediately. As a latecomer, it's quite difficult for us to compete with them in the main market, which is the local market. So since local market is taken already by the stronger competitors, I have no choice, have to look at the export market. And it was the export market which I was really able to grow. And you have to be very innovative to be in the export market. I remember we were the first to come up with a laminated packaging. Before, simple plastic with an overlayer painting, a paint print on it is the packaging. and you can scratch with your finger on your label. But with our innovative, we use the packaging where there's another layer of plastic being laminated on top of it so you cannot scratch on it. Another one is I offered to my buyer a guarantee that it can pass their country FDA regulation. While my competitor will say, you get it as is, what we make, it's up to you. When it reaches your country, we have no more control on it. It's up to you how you're gonna let it come into your country. That's how we were able to penetrate the export market. We have two major brand names. Philippine brand is known in Europe and US. But in Asia, it's Cebu brand. Why? Because in Asia, especially Japan, they don't like the name Philippines. Because during the 80s, Philippines is a kidnapping country for the Chinese and for the Japanese. The Philippine name is very bad during the 80s. So we come up with another name, Cebu brand, which is now very popular in China, especially in Japan. But my biggest break was I got a big loan from the semi-government to modernize my factory. So by modernizing my factory, I can penetrate the big names, the big companies all over the world. But it was not just an overnight. I remember in 1993, I went to penetrate the Japanese market. For me to be able to penetrate their market, I have to approach even Del Monte and tell them, I have this facility, can I produce something for you? So I end up toll packing for Del Monte, for Nestle, for Coca-Cola, for Dole. And with all the big names behind me, I was finally able to penetrate the Japanese market on the dried mango. Pro Food initially was only a single product, only dried mango. The only problem is after the mango season, I lay off maybe 95% of my workers because there's no more mango to process. You cannot continue this way. There is no continuation. So Pro Food have to be innovative. Today, we process 14 types of Philippine fruit so that the whole factory can continue to operate. Even the mango is not in season. So we now produce all type of tropical fruits that is in commercial quantity. Thank God everything went well. And because of this, I was able to maintain about 70% of the workers. For me, never say no unless you have tried it. Because during my time, I don't have the factory, I don't have the money, I don't have the buyer. I only have the will to do it. I would say I was able to do it. So I always tell the second generation, don't be discouraged if you failed. You have to continue to do it because if you can do it without anything, how much more if you have everything already and all you have to do is just to do the right way, then you can be successful. Producing dried mango is something that is a passion that I'm happy doing it.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #Beyond Borders is brought to you by Cardinal Santos Medical Center, Evergreen Cereal, AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc., Global Diesel and GU Engineering, Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation, Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner, Japan Parts Trading Center, Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. For your copying and printing needs, it must be sharp. Philippine Sitiok Songlin Musical Federation Association. Vespo Pipes and Luftonic Air Purifiers by Tech Global Incorporated. Landlight, your total lighting solution. J Park Island Resort and Water Park, Mactan, Cebu. Discovery Crimea. Chua Beng Teng, Alejandro Ko, Jimmy C, Nang Family, Enrique Chua, Lee Pue Chin, Albert Ko, Stephen Sia, Rosalina Yasay, Anson Tan, Sherwin Choi. Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
As everybody said, don't put everything in one basket. Mango depends so much on the weather. Due to the global warming, the typhoons in the Philippines have increased from 15 to 20 to 25, 26 typhoon a year now for Philippines. So we are at the mercy on the weather, natural disaster. To grow more bigger, to be safe, we go into tourism. Actually, we go really into tourism business. My biggest challenge was actually when I took over J Park Management. That was in 2015 because 65% of our clients are Koreans. And the Koreans were saying that sooner you will have no more Korean guests. What we did is, my first publicity on that town was to bring in Miss Universe to J Park for the swimsuit presentation. That was in 2016. Then we renovate the facilities, we renovate the rooms, we put in another indoor park, we renovate the ballroom to be the best in Cebu Island. Believe it or not, our Korean guests in fact increased. Aside from that, our Japanese guests have more than doubled also. Knowing it's become a Filipino company. It's run by Filipinos now. So we were so successful in both sides that everything went so well that encouraged us to expand for another big hotel. J Park is a very unique hotel. It's because it's a family hotel. My guest that goes there normally comes in 3 generations. You'll see the grandparents, the parents, and the kids go there. Why will they go there? The reason because we have a water park and we have an indoor children park also. So with this facility, the guests are not bored, especially the children. J Park is a big hotel now with 16.5 hectare area, 820 rooms. Before COVID, we are 92% foreign tourists. Only 8% are local. And we were able to give the Filipino hospitality to all the tourists that in such a way that we have many guests that are returning guests. And we were so successful that eventually, for me, the future of the Philippines should be tourism. Aside from serving a good quality service to our client, I want the hotel to be green. So in our hotel, we have a full wastewater processing facility. Plus, we put up almost a megawatt of solar power to help generate power without using fuel. And these are appreciated by foreigners. We'll be growing both ways. In ProFood, we'll be producing more new products using our traditional Philippine raw materials. I like also the fruit bowls. We create a very nice blending of coconut and mango bowls. I also like the dried young coconut and also the dried green mangoes. And our mango nectar for me is quite a good product. And we were able to produce 100% mango juice ready to drink. For the hotel, we're also looking at building more hotels to cater to the future tourists we know will be a lot. And I've traveled all over the world, and I can see Philippines really, tourism is really the best for the tourists because a lot of our people speak English. In manufacturing, they don't care you speak English or not. And we are way, way behind now in manufacturing with other Asian countries because we lag behind with all other Asian countries. For example, in the 70s, Thailand and Philippines is at par. Everything, currency, export, tourism. Today, tourism, Thailand is 6 times bigger than Philippines. Export, they're 5 times bigger than Philippines. So Philippines have nowhere to go already. We're at the bottom. So someone have to produce something, for sure you'll go up.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. Hashtag Beyond Borders is brought to you by Cardinal Santos Medical Center, Ever Bilena, PG Flex Linoleum and Maruyama Tarpaulin, Evergreen Cereal, AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc., Global Diesel and GU Engineering, Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation, Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner, Japan Parts Trading Center, Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities, Philflex Wires and Cables, Landlight, your total lighting solution, J Park Island Resort and Water Park, Mactan, Cebu, Chua Beng Tang, Alejandro Ko, Jimmy C, Nung Family, Albert Ko, Stephen Sia, Rosalina Yasay, Lee Hongming, Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
During the early days, most of my friends who are rich all migrate outside the Philippines because number one, of course, it's more peaceful, easy life. But I stay in the Philippines because I have nowhere to go on that time. But when I have already the money to have the choice to go abroad, I still feel Philippines is my home. And I feel that if I can help Philippines, this is something, another achievement I can be happy.
With Chinoys moving abroad for greener pastures, it doesn't make them any less of a Chinoy. It doesn't mean they don't have patriotism for their country. I think it's the country itself that doesn't provide the opportunities that a person needs in the time. An example is some of my aunts. They're nurses. They have like 5 kids to feed. The salary here is not a lot, so they had to find new opportunities. Basically, we're just human beings also. We are here to survive. When I went international, it was not necessarily because I didn't like my country. I love being a model in the Philippines because I know the network, the community is so small and so nice. But I felt like I was stuck. I wanted to go international because I wanted to know what opportunities are still out there for me to learn and to grow. I don't think there's anything wrong, with people in general, like going abroad. And they want to find something outside the country so they could bring it back here to this country.
I think because of the globalized world, people grab opportunities whenever they come along. So if your parents have citizenship abroad and you want a better life, you want to get out of the constrictions, the limitations of being a Chinoy in the Philippines, many of my contemporaries have chosen that path. Maybe they'll have a simpler lifestyle, very middle class, living abroad, but they prefer that to living in the bubble back home, right? So I think people have made that choice. But again, as an educator, concerned about nation building and loving your country, we do want our young people to, you can go abroad and learn, but sana you come back and contribute to building up Philippine society. What will make them stay? I think, number one, they have to value this country. They have to love their country. And that's something we cannot assume in the younger generation, whether Pinoy or Chinoy. We have to inculcate that value.
I do have family members, I do have friends that have migrated to different parts of the world to find greener pasture. And I do not judge their decision for their families. But as of now, I just cannot see myself living in another country and leaving the Philippines. This is where I was born. I just find so much hope for the Philippines, honestly. That's why I really want to encourage people that community has already been built in the Philippines, the Chinoy community, and there will always be a family that you would see here in our country. And it's not just having a family, but also having a community where it can support you with different aspects, also with businesses and so on. That's why I always look with so much bright future and hope for the country.
For me, the first value, we have to be hardworking. Really hardworking. There's no replacement for hardworking. You don't waste time. Instead of wasting time, you do work on it. Because only through hard work, you can succeed. You should have the wisdom or the knowledge to do what you're gonna do. Don't jump into something that you don't know. Because this will cause you a lot of failures, which you might be discouraged. And thirdly, for me, share your blessing to others. I remember when by 1986, exactly 8 years after the successful startup of the mango business, I told my dad, I'll share the whole company to the siblings. I give them all future shares so that in the future they will all work with the company. And that's exactly what happened. So we become a big family working together.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #Beyond Borders was brought to you by Doña Maria Brown Rice, my kind of rice, from SL Agritech. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific. Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities.